Dartmouth College's head football coach, Buddy Stevens, known to his players as Coach, passed away 6 months after a devastating bike accident. At the age of 66, Stevens succumbed to his injuries. In March, while riding his bicycle in St. Augustine, Florida, Stevens was tragically hit by a pickup truck. His wife, Kirsten, shared periodic updates about his condition. She announced in April that her husband's injuries were severe, including damage to his spinal cord and the amputation of his right leg. Consequently, Stevens was unable to continue his tenure as a coach. It is with great sadness that we inform you of our beloved coach's passing, the family statement read. This has been a difficult time for our family, and we're grateful for the outpouring of love and support. Your kind messages have greatly helped sustain us during this time. Before transitioning to a coaching role, Stevens played as a quarterback for Dartmouth and was even named the Ivy League Player of the Year in 1978. He was also a member of the school's competitive ice hockey team. His dedication to Dartmouth shone through in his decision to coach their team for 22 seasons, which solidified his legacy. His coaching record stood proudly at 117-101-2, impressive numbers that demonstrated his commitment to the sport. He was known for pioneering new ways to make football safer for players. Dartmouth President Sion Leah Bylock and Athletic Director Mike Harity praised Stevens for this in their letter, saying, "Coach Stevens changed the game. His focus on technique over brute force revolutionized practices." Contributing to this legacy was the invention of a robotic tackling dummy, a visionary piece of engineering designed to reduce injuries during practice. The mobile virtual player, as it's known, was not only adopted at Dartmouth but also by other college programs and even NFL teams. Acting coach Sammy McCorkle tearfully delivered the news of Stevens' death to the team after Tuesday's practice. Saturday's game against Lehigh confirmed to proceed as planned, with a moment of silence to remember the late coach. Dartmouth football has lost a pillar of the community, McCorkle told his team, his voice heavy with emotion. Coach Stevens dedicated his life to this team and worked tirelessly to make football a safer sport. His loss will be felt by us all. Part of the game will include a post-game gathering of remembrance, allowing the community and the team an opportunity to come together, share their memories of Stevens, and pay their respects. The Stevens family have been incredibly touched by the community's overwhelming kindness and support. As they stated, "The love that has been showered on our family will always be remembered." In addition to his contributions to the world of sport, Stevens is remembered as a loving husband, father, and grandfather. He leaves behind a grieving wife, 2 children, and 4 grandchildren who mourn his loss. They also inherit his legacy, reflecting a life lived with passion, determination, and love for football, his beloved Dartmouth, and his dear family. The story of Buddy Stevens serves as a stark reminder of life's unpredictable nature and the unanticipated tragedies one might confront. It also sets an example of how one can make an indelible impact through dedication, innovation, and love for one's work. His contributions to the sport of football and Dartmouth College will continue to resonate and inspire the generations to come. His is a legacy that lives on in the hearts of all those who knew him and the sport he so dearly loved. Now get ready to answer the questions. Question: Who was Buddy Stevens? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: Buddy Stevens was the head football coach of Dartmouth College. Before he became a coach, he was a quarterback for Dartmouth and was named the Ivy League Player of the Year in 1978. He also played for the school's competitive ice hockey team. Question: What happened to Buddy Stevens 6 months ago? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: Buddy Stevens was involved in a serious bike accident while riding his bicycle in St. Augustine, Florida. He was hit by a pickup truck. Question: what was significant about Buddy Stevens' coaching method? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: Buddy Stevens was known for pioneering new ways to make football safer for players. He focused on technique over brute force, which was a revolutionary practice. He contributed to the invention of a robotic tackling dummy to reduce injuries during practice. Question: how is the Dartmouth community remembering Buddy Stevens? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: Dartmouth College has planned to proceed with their game against Lehigh as scheduled, and they will hold a moment of silence for Coach Buddy Stevens. After the game, they will also hold a gathering of remembrance to pay their respects. Question: what replications has the mobile virtual player found outside of Dartmouth? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: the mobile virtual player, a robotic tackling dummy, has been adopted by other college programs and even NFL, National Football League, teams. Question: in your opinion, what is Buddy Stevens' greatest legacy? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: opinions will vary. Some may argue that Buddy Stevens' greatest legacy was his commitment to making the sport of football safer through his pioneering coaching methods and invention of the mobile virtual player. Others might remember him for his outstanding performance as a quarterback, winning the Ivy League Player of the Year in 1978. Question: how significant do you think the loss of Buddy Stevens would be to the Dartmouth football team and the wider Dartmouth College community? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: again, opinions will differ. However, it's likely that the loss of Buddy Stevens will be greatly felt by the Dartmouth football team and the wider Dartmouth community. His contributions to the sport, to player safety, and to Dartmouth College itself leave a significant gap. His dedication to the team, his pioneering approach to coaching, and his drive to improve player safety have undoubtedly left a lasting impact on the community.
In recent years, an unsettling trend has emerged in the United States. Chinese tourists, seemingly lost in unfamiliar territory, have made repeated attempts to access military bases and other sensitive sites. While some incidents appear harmless, like tourists looking for fast food joints, others raise serious questions about their true intentions. Let's dive right into it. Are these lost tourists genuinely seeking a burger joint near a military base, or is there something more sinister at play? We'll explore the facts, the doubts, and the concerns surrounding these incidents. The curious case of lost tourists. It's not unusual for tourists to get a bit turned around in a foreign country, but some of these cases are raising eyebrows. Imagine someone wandering into an area not known for tourism, far from commercial airports, and using what seems like scripted language. It's an unusual scenario, to say the least. Reports suggest that these tourists sometimes try to breach security checkpoints, fly drones to take unauthorized photos, or engage in activities that don't align with typical sightseeing. One particularly eyebrow-raising incident involves scuba divers spotted near a U.S. government rocket launch site in Florida. The Just Tourists defense. To be fair, some of these incidents could genuinely be innocent mistakes. Not everyone has a perfect sense of direction, and tourists can sometimes find themselves in unusual places. But when we consider the frequency and the peculiar nature of these incidents, it's hard to dismiss them as mere accidents. The legal quandary. One of the most significant challenges in addressing this issue is the legal framework. Trespassing laws in the United States are primarily enforced at the state or local level. This means that if these individuals are caught, they might only face charges of trespassing, a relatively minor offense. Proving more sinister intentions could be an uphill battle for the U.S. government. the potential for espionage. The concern here is that these incidents might be part of a broader espionage effort. Are Chinese tourists gathering intelligence or testing the security measures in place at these sensitive locations? It's a valid question to ask. Imagine the potential gains for a foreign government if even a few of these tourists manage to collect valuable information. The U.S. government's inability to prove anything beyond trespassing might be an intentional strategy employed by those involved. The lack of reciprocity. It's worth noting that the consequences for an American caught trespassing in China are vastly different. China has strict laws and a history of harsh penalties for espionage-related offenses. This lack of reciprocity and consequences raises further concerns about the true intentions of these lost Chinese tourists. Security measures and the need for vigilance. In light of these incidents, it's essential to evaluate and potentially bolster security measures at sensitive sites. Whether these individuals are genuinely lost or have ulterior motives, ensuring the protection of national security is paramount. The question remains, how do we strike a balance between maintaining a welcoming atmosphere for tourists and safeguarding sensitive locations? It's a delicate act that demands careful consideration. Conclusion: unanswered questions and ongoing concerns. As we examine this situation, it's clear that there are more questions than answers. Are these Chinese tourists genuinely lost, or is there a covert agenda at play? The evidence suggests that there's more to these incidents than meets the eye. While the legal framework presents challenges in addressing this issue definitively, it's crucial for the United States to remain vigilant and prioritize national security. With the potential for espionage and the lack of reciprocity and consequences, these incidents should not be taken lightly. In the end, whether they are lost tourists or something more, the presence of these individuals at sensitive U.S. sites raises valid concerns. It's a reminder that national security requires constant attention and adaptation to evolving threats, even when they come disguised as tourists seeking directions to the nearest fast food joint. Now get ready to answer the questions. Question: what have Chinese tourists been doing in the United States that is causing concerns? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: Chinese tourists in the United States have been engaging in suspicious activities, such as attempting to access military bases and sensitive sites. Some of them have asked for directions to food places near these locations, but others have done more unusual things like taking secret photos and even swimming near government sites. These actions have raised suspicions about their true intentions, and people are worried that they might be trying to gather secret information. Question: how does the legal system in the United States affect the consequences for these Chinese tourists if they get caught? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: the legal system in the United States poses a challenge when it comes to dealing with these tourists. Trespassing laws vary from state to state and locality to locality, meaning that if these individuals are caught, they might face different levels of punishment. In some cases, they could be charged with relatively minor offenses like trespassing, which makes it difficult for the U.S. government to prove more serious intentions, such as espionage. Question: why is the lack of reciprocity and consequences between the United States and China a concern? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: the lack of reciprocity and consequences between the United States and China is a concern because it means that Chinese tourists caught trespassing in the U.S. may face less severe penalties than American trespassers in China. While the U.S. may have difficulty proving espionage, China's strict laws and harsh penalties for similar offenses create an uneven playing field. This raises questions about fairness and whether the consequences are a sufficient deterrent for individuals with ulterior motives. Question: how does the article suggest the United States can address the issue of suspicious Chinese tourists effectively? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: the article suggests that the United States should evaluate and potentially strengthen security measures at sensitive sites. This would involve improving the protection of these locations to ensure national security is not compromised. Additionally, it emphasizes the importance of vigilance and adaptability in the face of evolving threats. Question: in your opinion, should the U.S. government take additional measures to address the presence of these suspicious Chinese tourists, and if so, what could those measures be? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: in my opinion, it is crucial for the U.S. government to take additional measures to address the presence of these suspicious Chinese tourists. First, enhancing security protocols and surveillance at sensitive sites can help deter potential trespassers. Second, increasing awareness and reporting mechanisms for citizens to report suspicious activity can be beneficial. Finally, diplomatic efforts should be made to discuss the issue with the Chinese government and seek cooperation to prevent any potential espionage activities. These measures, combined with strict consequences for trespassing, can help safeguard national security while maintaining a welcoming atmosphere for genuine tourists. In recent news, former TV actor Danny Masterson finds himself in a situation that's far from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. With a 30-year-to-life sentence hanging over his head for 2 counts of rape, Masterson is now under full-time video surveillance in his jail cell in Los Angeles. The story raises some intriguing questions about prison procedures, mental health, and the possibility of an overturned conviction. Let's delve deeper into this matter. Constant surveillance, is it necessary? One of the first questions that come to mind is, why is Danny Masterson under round-the-clock surveillance? Well, it's not just a punitive measure, there's a reason behind it. Jail officials are closely monitoring him to detect any signs of mental distress. Every half hour, deputies pay a visit to his cell to ensure he's holding up. If there are any indications of difficulties, they're instructed to take him for a mental health examination. Now, some might argue that such intense surveillance might seem excessive given that Masterson has already been convicted. However, it's important to remember that even though someone is serving time in prison, their mental well-being is still a matter of concern. Detecting mental health issues early can not only prevent harm to the inmate but also ensure a safer environment for prison staff and other prisoners. Masterson's mental strength. Danny Masterson's lawyer, Sean Hawley, has stated that her client remains mentally strong despite his circumstances. This raises an interesting point about the mental resilience of individuals in such situations. How does one maintain mental fortitude when facing a lengthy prison sentence? Is it a testament to the human spirit, or is it a facade put on for the public and legal teams? Hawley has also mentioned that Masterson is confident about the possibility of having his conviction overturned. This is a common sentiment among many inmates who maintain their innocence. They cling to the hope that their conviction will be reversed through the appeals process. But how often does this hope materialize into reality? What are the odds of overturning a conviction, especially for such a serious crime as rape? The emotional toll on loved ones. While Masterson remains resolute in his mental strength, his loved ones are undoubtedly going through an emotional roller coaster. His wife, Bijou Phillips, was seen crying at his sentencing. This raises another thought-provoking question: how do the actions of one person affect their family and friends? Answer in 3, 2, 1. The ripple effect of a criminal conviction extends far beyond the individual behind bars. It affects relationships, family dynamics, and emotional well-being. For Masterson's family, this conviction has brought about immense pain and anguish. What kind of support systems are available for families of those incarcerated? How do they cope with the stigma and trauma associated with their loved ones' actions? The legal battle ahead. Sean Hawley's statement about Masterson's confidence in overturning his conviction points to an upcoming legal battle. Appeals are a common part of the justice system, but they often involve complex legal arguments. How likely is it for convictions in high-profile cases like this to be successfully overturned on appeal? What are the key factors that can influence the outcome of such legal proceedings? Furthermore, the presence of Masterson's family members at his sentencing raises questions about the emotional toll on them. What role do the families of the accused play in these legal battles, and how does their presence impact the proceedings? Answer in 3, 2, 1. The broader implications. Beyond the specific case of Danny Masterson, this story sheds light on broader issues within the criminal justice system. It raises questions about the balance between punitive measures and mental health support for inmates. Are there better alternatives to constant surveillance for detecting mental distress? How can the justice system ensure the well-being of both inmates and their families while serving justice for the victims of the crimes? Answer in 3, 2, 1. In conclusion, Danny Masterson's constant cell surveillance is not just a story about a celebrity's fall from grace. It prompts us to reflect on the complexities of the criminal justice system, the emotional toll on families, and the resilience of individuals facing lengthy prison sentences. It's a reminder that even in the most high-profile cases, there are human stories that deserve our attention and consideration. Now get ready to answer the questions. Question: why is Danny Masterson under constant surveillance in his jail cell? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: Danny Masterson is under constant surveillance in his jail cell to monitor his mental well-being. The article explains that jail officials are keeping a close eye on him to detect any signs of mental distress. They visit his cell every half hour to ensure he is doing okay. This surveillance is not just a form of punishment, it's meant to ensure the safety and well-being of the inmate. In case Masterson shows any signs of difficulties, they are prepared to take him for a mental health examination. So, the reason for the constant surveillance is to prevent harm to the inmate and to create a safer environment for everyone in the prison. Question: how does Danny Masterson's lawyer, Sean Hawley, describe his mental state? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: Sean Hawley, Danny Masterson's lawyer, describes her client as mentally strong. She believes that despite the serious legal troubles he faces, he remains resilient and confident. In the article, she mentioned that after meeting with appellate lawyers, Masterson is confident about his chances of having his conviction overturned. This suggests that he is maintaining a positive outlook on his legal situation. Hawley's description indicates that Masterson is not showing signs of mental distress despite the surveillance and the lengthy prison sentence he is serving. Question: what emotional impact does Masterson's sentencing have on his family, according to the article? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: Masterson's sentencing has had a significant emotional impact on his family, as the article reports. His wife, Bijou Phillips, was seen crying at his sentencing. This suggests that she is deeply affected by the situation. Additionally, the actor's mother and siblings were also present in court, which indicates the profound emotional toll it has taken on his family members. The article doesn't provide specific details about their feelings, but their presence and Bijou's tears suggest that they are experiencing sadness, anguish, and perhaps even shock. It's common for families of individuals facing serious legal issues to go through intense emotional turmoil, as this article hints. Question: can convictions be overturned on appeal in high-profile cases like Danny Masterson's? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: the article suggests that there is a possibility of overturning convictions on appeal even in high-profile cases like Danny Masterson's. According to his lawyer, Sean Hawley, Masterson is confident about the chance of having his conviction overturned. However, the article doesn't provide specific statistics or details about the success rate of such appeals in high-profile cases. The outcome of an appeal depends on various factors, including legal arguments, evidence, and the decisions of the appellate court. While there is a chance of success, it's important to note that overturning a conviction on appeal is a complex legal process, and each case is unique. Question: what broader issues does this article highlight within the criminal justice system? Answer in 3, 2, 1. Answer: this article highlights several broader issues within the criminal justice system. It raises questions about the balance between punitive measures like jail sentences and mental health support for inmates. The constant surveillance of Masterson to detect mental distress reflects the concern for inmate well-being, but it also prompts discussions about the effectiveness of such measures. Additionally, the emotional toll on the families of incarcerated individuals is underscored. The article suggests that families experience sadness and anguish when their loved ones are sentenced, emphasizing the need for support systems for them. Lastly, the article touches on the process of appealing convictions in high-profile cases and how it can influence the justice system. It doesn't provide concrete answers but encourages readers to consider these complex issues.